Today we are ranking all of the brand new Resident Evil chapter perks from worst to best and giving you guys our opinions on them. Kings and queens, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. It is time to take a look at all of the Resident Evil perks, tell you which ones are good and which ones are pretty bad. If you guys do enjoy, please hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe. Our goal is to hit 150,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and over 70% of you guys are not subbed, so please consider doing it. Also, shout out to our Twitch and our Discord, links in the description. All right, let's jump on into it. Coming in at number 9, we have Ada Wong's low profile. I personally think that this is the worst perk of the bunch that we have because of how many prerequisites there actually are. So basically, if you're the last survivor alive, it suppresses your blood and scratch marks, which is quite good. Even though it doesn't suppress your breathing, the killer can still hear you if you're around, if they have a good headset. On top of that, you literally have to make it all the way to the end of the game as the sole survivor, which more often than not, at least for me, I end up dying. And if you're in a Swift, it can vary on who's the actual final person alive. On top of that, while this is kinda good, if the killer decides to close the hatch, it's pretty much a GG because they'll see you regardless at any of the exit gates if they just patrol them. And of course, there's another perk that does this job way better that literally makes you see where the hatch is, so why not use that one instead? All in all, I think out of the bunch of the 9, this is definitely the worst. Coming in at number 8 is Reactive Healing. Again, another Ada Wong teachable. So basically, when another survivor loses a health state within 32 meters of your location while you're injured, you can get 35% to your healing progression. So this is very mediocre. Again, if someone's just healing you, sure, it can make it go a little bit faster if somebody else gets injured around you. But realistically speaking, if you're healing in a boon, which you probably are, or even using a med kit, or someone else is healing you, you're pretty much safe to go. So you'll probably get the heal done regardless, and having that extra 35% is not really super beneficial. If it made it so that you fully healed, it would be absolutely cracked, but 35% isn't that significant, and of course someone else has to be injured within 32 meters of you. Now, you can get this to work in certain situations, but I don't think the extra time will help you whatsoever unless you're right next to that survivor in like a corner with bite the bullet and you can get a crazy play going. Realistically speaking though, I don't think that will happen. You would have to be so specific to get it to work, and that's why it's in the number 8 spot. Coming up next is a perk for Rebecca, and that's Hyper Focus. Pretty much after hitting a great skill check while repairing or healing, you gain 1 token. Every time you do this, you can gain more tokens for a maximum of 6. This increases the skill check odds by 2% per token. It also increases the skill tech rotation speed by 4%, but you get bonus progression by 30% of its base value for token. However, if you miss any of these skill checks or you get a good skill check, all of this pretty much goes away. So you gotta constantly hit great skill checks, which is pretty easy. It's not relatively too hard to do so, but with extra speed and more skill checks coming, you could mess up here and there. And considering that great skill checks only give you 1% progression for repair and 5% for healing or anything else, having that 30% realistically doesn't do that much. If it was doubled, it could have been nicer. If you had 2% progress to a generator or 10% to healing, it would be a lot nicer. But over time it can add up, but realistically, it's a mediocre perk in my opinion. Moving on to the next perk, we have one for Wesker, and that is Terminus. Basically, once the exit gates are powered, everybody that's injured, hooked, or dying will have the broken status effect. This will also linger for 30 seconds after the exit gates are open. So this is nice, realistically in my opinion, only if you're playing a killer that can spread out the damage really rapidly, such as Legion. I had this work in a few games, and it's nice because nobody can heal, but when it comes to crunch time and the exit gates are ready to go, by the time you knock somebody down and you place them on the hook, that time is pretty much over. You can decide to slug and try to go for multiple people at once, but if you're all the way towards endgame and you really need a perk to help you that much, you could just run something like NOED. This can work with certain builds, but realistically, once a survivor have that, it's pretty much GG. You would have to run a full-on endgame build to truly see good potential with this, such as No Way Out, maybe even Blood Warden, and if you want to, you can run NOED to just put the extra stamp on top, although it'll be counterintuitive, but it still can get some synergy going. But like I said, you have to run 3 different perks to really see the benefits of this one. All right, now we're getting into the good stuff. Coming in next is Better Than New. This one is for Rebecca. Basically, upon completing a healing action on a survivor, they actually benefit for 35 seconds with a 6% increase to action speeds in repairing, healing, unhooking, and cleansing. This is pretty good because if you're the team player that's going around saving everybody and you're running around helping everyone, as soon as you heal them up, they'll be ready to go, hop on generators, and really get some good progress done. Especially if you're running something like Prove Thyself, or maybe even leadership, everything will basically go faster, which is quite nice. The only downside is that this only lasts for 35 seconds, but if you're solely focusing on being the one rescuer on your team and you're helping everybody, and then they basically go and work on gens and then you try to distract the killer, you can actually get some good upside to this. Having 6% for 35 seconds to healing, repairing, unhooking, and cleansing is quite nice, and especially if you just go on the gens and crank them out, you can really get those gens going. Moving up the list to the top 4, we have a perk for Wesker, and that is Superior Anatomy. If a survivor performs a rushed vault within 8 meters of you, this perk activates. This will increase your vaulting speed by 30, 35, and 40% the next time you vault a window. Now, this is really good if you're in a chase and you're gunning for somebody. If they decide to vault the window, you can even combine this with Bamboozle for 55% of an increase to go really quick. You can even combine this on Myers with Fire Up and go absolutely berserk with it, but it's quite a nice perk. Imagine someone like Legion running this perk and they just vault over the window as fast as they can because of it. It would be absolutely insane. So it works out quite nice if you're chasing somebody, and you can really cut that distance down with the 40% extra vault time, and I think it's a slept on perk that a lot of people don't realize is really good. It's time to go into the top 3 perks. Coming up next is one for Ada, which is definitely her best perk, and that's Wiretap. You might look at this at first glance and think it's mediocre, but realistically it's not. After repairing generators for a total of 33%, after you repaired for 3 seconds, press and hold the active ability button and you can install a wire trap. This basically will stay active for 80 seconds, and the auras of the trap gens will be revealed to everybody. Whenever the killer is within 14 meters of the trap generator, their aura is shown to all survivors. This is really good, especially if the killer is not worrying about kicking those generators or they're chasing somebody. It gives everybody information where the killer is, and considering how many people told me they really like Alert and they think that I was completely off about it, you guys should probably really like this one as well. You literally don't have to wait for the killer to kick the gen, and everybody gets a benefit as well, which is really, really awesome. I've seen this perk being used quite a lot, and it even got used against myself, and it really gives survivors a lot of information to know if they're safe to work on gens or do unhooks, and information is key. This perk is a real good one, and I think people are going to catch on to it really, really quickly. Coming in the number 2 spot is Awakened Awareness. Now, this one might be a little bit controversial, but it's actually a really good perk if you can synergize it well. First of all, as I said, information is key. So whenever you're carrying a survivor, all the auras of survivors within 20 meters of you are revealed in your location. And this basically lingers 2 seconds after you stop carrying the survivor. So not only will you know if anybody's around to quickly get the save in 20 meters, if you combine this with Starstruck or anything like that, you could easily pick up a survivor and drop them and go after them. Imagine running something like this on Nurse, where you literally down a survivor, pick them up, you see where everybody's at, and you just gun for them. You could combine this with other aura reading perks as well, or even Lethal Pursuer to make this effect last longer, and it'll be absolutely devastating. I combined this with Starstruck in a lot of my games today while playing Wesker, and I dominated. I really think a lot of people are going to use Awakened Awareness, and it's going to be really, really devastating. And that takes us to our number 1 spot, and that is for Rebecca. This is Reassurance. Basically, you can stop camping with this one. When within 6 meters of a hook survivor, you can press the active ability button to halt the sacrifice progress for 30 seconds. This has a cooldown of 40 seconds, and if a whole team is running this, you can literally just keep on going and keep your survivor friend alive. Obviously, if you can get the save, there's no point in doing this, but if the killer is around and are camping, or they're just near you, or you need to crack a gen out and you want the killer to stay by that person, you can easily run this. The killer does know when this is active, so it would be more smart for them not to stick around, but sometimes you can't help it if all the survivors are crowding you. This is a really, really good perk, and it definitely can be abused. I've seen a lot of people running this perk today, and it was really nutty. I don't know if any changes are going to be made to any of these perks, but that is my tier list to what I think is the worst to the best, and I hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me. I would love to hear your comments down below. All in all the perks are pretty good. The only exception I would think is low profile. That's a bit mediocre. Everything else is pretty good, and I have to say I respect these perks. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. If you do enjoy it, make sure you leave a like down below, and of course subscribe if you are new to the channel. Don't forget to join our Discord, and make sure you guys are coming out to Twitch. We're gonna have a bunch of codes and giveaways coming, so make sure you guys are there. As always, I'm the king. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fall.
Living life like a king. Gold on my neck, boy, gold on my rings. Crown got the tilt, I ain't worried about a thing here. Flow so new, but I'm acting like I've been here. Yeah, see, this what I've been doing since the drop. Fire on the arrow when I tell them all to knock. Once I get it going,